Good evening, everyone. Or it could be morning, or good afternoon. Take your pick. Thought I'd do another video out here in the laundry room. It seemed better than the books all the time. Maybe you'll like it, maybe not. Just seems like a good place. Plus, I've got a nice mess going on in the library. So, yeah, we're out here for a little bit. That's okay. That's what happens when you start rearranging. Things kind of go everywhere, so you got it done. Today I want to do a little sort of Q&A and channel news sort of thing. So I've got several solar videos coming. Yay, right? I hope you guys do like those. They are a ridiculous pile of work to make. Turns out, when you have about 4 hours of raw footage, cutting it together, putting things up, wow, the editing on that is crazy. For you people that professionally do this all the time, got my respect. I had no idea how much cutting, chopping, putting things together, and going, you know what, this whole section right here stinks. Gotta refilm it. Learning experience. Big time learning experience. I had no idea what I was getting into when I got started on this. But, for all you people that wanted to see more solar, it's coming. We're also going to deep dive into a bunch of the battery technologies associated with solar. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten anything about the solar, and since I'm such a die-hard fan of solar technologies and other renewables, we're going to always be digging in and messing with the stuff. I hope you don't mind, because I love having my energy for free. Well, sort of free. There is the initial investment. I do think you get the point, though. The other thing, though, is I've got lots of philosophy videos. There's all these things people keep bringing up on other channels and things in the news, and I'm like, boy, we really got to talk about these things. Bend them around, alter them, look at them from an SHTF sort of scenario and say, if this sort of weird thing happened in a time of immense crisis, what the heck does that mean? Because I don't even know myself in some ways. I'm looking for you guys to tell me what the heck it means. Have a good discussion on it. And I hope you don't mind that. The other thing is I'm kind of working together with my friend Eva, who you guys saw one video so far. I've got 2 other videos I'm editing right now that you'll see her in. And we're going to try to do sort of a podcast thing. We haven't figured it out. We're working on it. We may get one other person involved and then have, other people to chat with. We're working on the details. We'll have something for you. Okay, let's do some Q&A. Certain people are kind of curious. Reed, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Let me do that. I'll answer some questions for you guys. Fill it in. Now, I studied and went to college and got myself a computer science degree. And I took a huge pile of math and electrical engineering courses along the way. And one other oddball thing. Law classes. Yeah, weird, right? I found the law really interesting as well. It's kind of like computer engineering and programming, but on paper, with a very sort of wishy-washy interpretation thrown in. I don't know. Just found it very interesting. You may laugh. I've thought about a long time about getting an advanced degree, going ahead and going further and getting a complete master's in electrical engineering, and then also get a law degree and join the bar. I know, sounds wild, right? I've been planning to do. Well, you guys get to meet one of the other fuzzes around here. This is Orange, or as I like to call him, Ornery. He's old, 14 years, and boy does he get cranky some days. He's an old man, and he's got the get off my lawn attitude sometimes. And then of course he's like, hey, can you kind of love on me? I could use some love on. They get old just like us, and boy do they have a hard time when they do sometimes. But here's the other little fuzzball around the house. Mr. Ornery, or Orange, whichever you want to call it. I don't know. Another name really never fit, so I just called him Ornery Orange. You can laugh at that. But he decided, yep, I'm going to be part of this video. No way is Philip getting the only teacher around here. So say hello to Mr. Ornery Orange. Anyways, back to the point. I've been planning on that for a while. Only thing is, I do a lot. I work way too much. However, a lot of these online schools would make significant progress. So I thought, let's take a look at it soon. Who knows? However, there is a side I also haven't talked about yet. See, before I went to college, I tried all sorts of different things. I worked as an apprentice to a locksmith for a while. I've done the whole apprenticeship with the electricians, And when I was young and small, I got to learn what it's like being in the hot attics running wire. Yeah, coming out looking like you took a shower, but it's your own damn sweat. Well, not pleasant. Taught me a lot about how hard blue-collar work is, and it is hard. One thing is I like working with my hands all the time. Now, to help pay for school and get me through it, I worked as a professional auto mechanic for several years. That was interesting. Learned a lot about that. Of course, she said, "Hey, Reed, why not join the military?" I actually was really interested in joining the Air Force. However, recruiters discovered something. I have asthma. I take medication for asthma. Guess what? You can't take medications for an illness and join the military. If you're medication dependent, they consider that a very big liability in case of times of combat and supply shortages. Turns out, though, I got to do a little bit of fun as a civilian contractor and learned a lot. Got to see some really cool things. Who knew the Air Force did big science projects? Well, I kind of knew, from the recruiters at least, but I got to see some of them, work on some. Boy, it was interesting. Learned a lot. That's kind of a generalized thing about me. Now, if you're wondering, what's with the solar stuff? Well, I've been interested in solar since I was about, 10. Always been interested in, how do you build this? How do you do these things? If something happened and we had to self-support ourselves, how do you do it? Yeah, I was one of those kids asking those weird questions. I'm also one of those kids that tried to invent my own light bulb and ended up setting my bed on fire. I'll have to share that story sometime. Maybe some of you guys will get a good laugh out of that one. But I did eventually get a working light bulb. Although it was horribly inefficient. But it did work, which was kind of cool. Also learned, about electrolysis, turning water into hydrogen and oxygen. That was interesting. Then, of course, learning about how lead acid batteries work. And let me tell you, learning how badly sulfuric acid destroys your clothes. It's amazing. It just tears cotton up like crazy. My childhood is filled with all sorts of crazy stories. I'll have to share with people, tell them about it. You should have seen the reaction my grandfather gave my mom when he was watching me play around with the Christmas lights when I was very young, like 4 or 5. And he said, "You better be careful in there. He might shock himself." And my mom responded, "He probably already has." Boy, I tell you, my grandfather was convinced my mom was the worst mother that could have ever existed. But I was too curious to stop. She said I was so stubborn that she could have beat me to death before I stopped. It might be true. I'll have to ask my wife about that one. Anyways, so that's sort of a bit about me. I have a big-time engineering side of me where I dig into things, but I'm a very hands-on guy. Build stuff, put things together, not afraid to get horribly dirty. However, I have to admit, as I get older, digging those trenches by hand, a little hard. Much more interested in renting the backhoe. Anyways, I hope this answers some questions about Crazy Reed here. Gives you an idea of what's coming up. I have lots of videos I'm editing, including one where I decided to make a fire in the snow using wet, damp logs with a ferrocerium rod. And I failed horribly. Or did I? You have to see it. I'm still cutting the footage. Although, we had a couple problems when I was doing that. Turns out, it was so darn cold, with the wind chill and everything like that, the camera on the cell phone said, it's too cold, I'm shutting off. So, I had to warm up the cameras, switch out cell phones several times, and it's made the editing a little hard. I hope to have that one up very soon as well. You guys can laugh at Reed trying to make a fire in the snow, damp wood, logs, crazy wind chill, and freezing my ever-loving butt off doing it. But I did it for you, so you guys could get an idea of how to deal with this and practice, and learn from my own mistakes. Anyways, take care everyone, have a wonderful day, and remember, imagine something and manifest it. This is Reed, out for now. Plus, I got a mess in the laundry.